Bonjour, Chippewa, Nijenikas, Amekdorim, Saginaw, Chippewa, Anishinaabe, and Dao. I'd like to welcome everyone to our virtual Freedom Walk 2020. We are not in the tribal gym. We are over at the housing department. And we're here to go ahead and to continue to bring this important event that we've been sharing with the tribe for many, many years, dating back to the 1980s. And to go ahead and to start us in the spirit of prayer, I'd like to ask our Tribal Council Chaplain, Alice Jo Ricketts, to go ahead and to share a prayer with us. And then she's going to be sharing experience, strength, and hope. Before we address our Tribal Council members, we have Tribal Chief Tim Davis and some of our council members that will be joining us shortly. We'll turn it over to Tribal Chaplain Alice Jo Ricketts. Alice?
Miigwech, Joe. I thought it appropriate to pray the Serenity Prayer. Even those that know it can say it along with me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever and the next. Amen. And just briefly, I would like to say I'm in recovery, almost 9 years, and I pray for our tribal nation daily that we overcome the sickness of addiction. So always know that I'm on your side in prayer. God bless you as you take your walk.
Miigwech, Tribal Chaplain Alice Jo Ricketts. One of the things we talk about in recovery is we meet people where they're at, and certainly with the Healing to Wellness program that I get a chance to be a part of, we get a chance to be with our people in family court. And it's all about coming together and being a part of the circle. And one of the ways that we can do that is we look for that true change within. And it happens right from the top when it comes from the support of our tribal leadership. And I've known Tim Davis ever since growing up on the reservation in the 60s, and I got a chance to watch him as he went through Mount Pleasant High School, and he was a star baseball pitcher and went all state and got inducted to the Hall of Fame there for the Oilers, and then I watched his career as he's blossomed, and he went into law enforcement with the tribal police, and he's been very supportive throughout the years, and got into tribal council leadership, actually served as sub-chief for my father back in the 1990s, and was promoted to chief when my father passed on, and he is our tribal chief once again. And at this time, I'd like to invite Tim Davis to come up for opening remarks, and I'd also like to invite our tribal council to stand with him. Not only our tribal council chaplain Alice Jo Ricketts, we'd also like to ask Carmen Otto and Jen Washigijic to come up and to stand for these opening remarks. Tribal Chief Tim Davis.
Good morning. As Joe said, way back in the day, as young people, we all tend to go and have fun and have drinks and have a few too many drinks and do some crazy things. So fortunately, back in 1982, the tribal council gave me the opportunity to work as a law enforcement officer for our tribe, and very happy that they selected me and gave me the opportunity. I didn't know anything about law enforcement back then, and Captain Somik sent me out to Utah to go to school. I started out with 3 roommates who all had law enforcement under their belt, serving for their tribes throughout the country, 6, 7, 8 years. And the first 2 months, I ended up being in my room by myself because my fellow roommates flunked out of school. And I was quite surprised because I didn't have any law enforcement experience, and I was the one that was still there, you know. So we had like somewhere about 80 cadets going to school, and we graduated with I think like 49 people that finished, and I was really proud that I was able to manage that class, become a tribal police officer. So we've come a long way, and I remember doing the walk, Freedom Walk, in a police car, escorting, way back in the day. Gosh, gotta be the late 80s. And as Joe mentioned, I did serve as a sub-chief under his dad, and Arnold was, I really appreciate everything Arnold said to me, and he always said, Tim, as council people, we don't know everything. You count on your staff, and you look to them, and they'll help you out. So I appreciate that from Arnold. And so this morning, I just want to say to everybody, people can change. Right now, you may have an addiction, or you just like to have a few cold beers or whatever, but you know, as you grow up, you got to change, because if you become a parent, you got to start leading your children the right way. And so I just want to say, everybody out there that's going to do the walk, be safe, be free, and be happy. And thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Carmen Otto. Tribal Council. This is something I've wanted to do for many, many years. My story is that this area is where I partied. You know, we have a lot of friends here. We partied around each other. You know, the trees and, you know, in the woods and off from East Road. It's just, we gathered together. There was a lot of us, and unfortunately, there's very few of them left due to addiction and alcoholism. And I'm grateful I'm still here. I left here in 1987, moved to New Mexico to go to school, got a DUI 1993, and was forced to go to like a treatment program, community service, and all that good stuff. And that led me to the path that I have been on. Well, 93 was a test run, I guess. You know, I relapsed in my first year of trying, but now I have 27 years, almost 28 years of sobriety. And, you know, my life is just way better than I could have imagined. I don't know where I'd be without the 12-step groups that I, you know, and all the people that I know from the 12-steps groups out there. And what I think is really important is that we get together with like-minded people to support each other. We need that. We need a spirituality. We need to do a lot of work on ourselves. It's an inside job. And, you know, I'm glad I got sober down there in New Mexico. Sorry, I'm really nervous here. Been a speaker before, but, you know, you have to prepare for this, you know. Gosh, you know, those people down there, I could go down there and I could go to just about any meeting in Albuquerque, in a little town that I went to, and I just know so many people. And a lot of Native American groups down there, a lot of Native Americans, you know, they get sober and they support each other no matter what tribe you are. And I think that was a key to success. And, you know, I hope this community, even though we don't have a lot of meetings and a lot of Native American groups, we are out there, you know, and those of us who are out there need to support each other, you know, and encourage people to stay sober. So I'm glad everybody's here. I understand why you're walking, and I support it, and, you know, God bless you all. Just keep going. Keep doing it for yourself. Thank you.
Chimigwech, Tribal Chief Tim Davis, our Tribal Chaplain Alice Jo Ricketts, Tribal Council members Carmen Otto and Jen Washadisha. You know, with the pandemic, we've had to make a lot of changes within the tribe, and who would have thought 2020 would have been so difficult for our tribal families, but there's one thing that's true about Indian country. You know, we are resilient, and we will continue, and we will adapt. And to go ahead and to bring this Freedom Walk together, we talked about a lot of ways that we could do this, and we wanted to make sure that we kept our social distancing. We wanted to make sure we kept our COVID protocols. And the prevention department has done a lot of work behind the scenes with behavioral health and trying to get this arranged. And one of the last things that we wanted to do is just to say that, well, this is an event that maybe we should hold off for next year. You know, with recovery, when you get to a point where you just hold off until next year, or you just hold off until tomorrow, a lot of things don't get done. And I think it was one of those things with our tribal community. It was important enough for a group of people to get together and a tribal council that supported recovery enough to go ahead and say, there are some things that need to continue on, and the Freedom Walk is one of them. And I appreciate all of the work Shauna Stevens and her staff have been doing to go ahead and make this effort continue. I want to ask her to come up, and you have an opportunity with our tribe to be a part of Freedom Walk this year. She's going to let you know how to do it. Shauna?
Miigwech. I'm Shauna Stevens. I'm the prevention coordinator over at Behavioral Health, and this makes me really mumbled, so we're farther enough apart, I hope. If I could just take that off. So yes, this year has been very different, making arrangements and planning things, because virtual is not normally within our wheelhouse. We're usually in the schools, in the community, out with people. So trying to do something different is a learning curve. And I'm really grateful to Tribal Council to give their blessings for us to go ahead and keep going with the Freedom Walk. It's obviously at a different time this year with staff being called back. We kind of pushed it back so we'd have time to learn through this process. So August is American Indian Sobriety Month, so it's fitting. It usually is kind of the kickoff for it because it happens at our powwow. This year it's going to be kind of the closing for it. So Freedom Walk is different. We're not doing an in-person all-together walk. You can still walk any path you choose, any distance you choose. So I know we have elders at Underwood, for instance, that have registered, and they're going to walk what they can around their building and be safe doing it there. You can do it at home. You can do it across your living room. It really doesn't matter what you choose to do. NIMKI has been great and has set up, NIMKI Fitness, set up a walking path for those that want to do that, because we don't have police escort, like Tim talked about earlier, to do the normal path. So that starts and ends in NIMKI Fitness. You can walk there. Our banner behind us is normally there, and we'll take it back after today. So you can still walk. We did extend deadlines so people can still share their photos and their videos. So our deadline for our video submission got moved to today, which is Tuesday. I know it's not gonna air till Friday. But it's Tuesday, August 25th, at 5 p.m. if you wanna share your videos. And it is going to be Monday, August 31st at noon to share your photos. That way we'll get all the photos we can uploaded by Friday the 28th, and then we'll just continually start sending the photos over to IT to continue to upload until we're done with getting all of them. So I know normally it's a huge group. There's 250, 300 people in the gym, and we're all walking together. Hopefully we can still get 250, 300 people, because we do have that many people registered right now to send in photos and send in videos, and we can get those going. I think it'll be nice to see how many people and maybe where everybody's at, because we do have people that have registered from across the country. A lot of people come home for powwow, and this is part of what they do when they come. So we still are having people participate, even though they're not here physically. So that's really awesome. And I just really look forward to seeing everybody and seeing their photos and seeing their pledge cards and why they're choosing sobriety. And I hope everybody has a great walk.
Wait right here if
Okay.
you would. Chimagwetch, Shauna Stevens, and one of the traditions that we have with our Freedom Walk is we take this moment to go ahead and recognize special people within our community. In fact, an Ojibwe word for it is called Amino Bamadzuin. We talk about living that good life. And for those people that are walking that spiritual path, for those people living that good life, we like to recognize them and we like to honor them with gifts that come from the heart. And have you ever heard what comes from the heart touches the heart? I think we have something special, and she certainly doesn't know that we're going to do this, but I'd like to ask our Tribal Council Chaplain, Alice Jo Ricketts, to come up and share a moment with us.
Shauna, you don't know this, but I want to gift you with something.
Oh, okay.
I made this strawberry medallion through the pandemic when we were closed down, and I knew that it was going someplace, but I had to wear it first, make sure it didn't break apart, right? But I wanted to specifically mention this is the O'Damon. This strawberry is shaped like a heart, and it represents the heart of our people. So I want to honor Shauna today with it, because she truly has the heart of our people. She continues to work and seeing people come out of their addictions. Prevention is huge. You always hear prevention's the best medicine. I also worked in prevention, so I have a heart for that department. So I just continue to encourage you, as you wear this, always remember our people that are sick, and you're working hard to get them well.
Yes.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Shauna.
Yeah.
Chimagwetch, that was very touching. What comes from the heart touches the heart. And I appreciate the opportunity that we have to get together every year for the Freedom Walk. We were talking about how this has been a signature event for our tribe over the years, and we have a photo gallery that's going to be posted up, and it'll have all sorts of pictures with it. But when you look at those pictures in the Freedom Walk gallery, it's basically a tribal history. And there's a lot of people in those pictures that aren't with us today, but I can tell you this, they are with us, because we can feel it right here. And one of the things that we mentioned over there with Healing to Wellness is you have to get to the point where you want to be a part of. And certainly with a lot of the tribal court programs that we have, not only with family court, we've had our adult healing to wellness and recently expanded in juvenile healing to wellness. A lot of it is being able to go ahead and to get the family engaged. Let's be a part of each other's recovery, because when it comes down to it, we are extended family. And one of the best blessings that I can think of my life was being able to meet our next speaker. And he remembers my mother, he remembers my father, and has worked in Indian country in a lot of different capacities, and currently works as our tribal chief judge. And the thing I like about Judge Patrick Shannon is he would rather see our people go into treatment instead of incarceration, and he's cut our incarceration rate down at least 50% over this last year, just because he has the heart of our people and wanting to go ahead and get them the help they need. I'm going to ask Judge Shannon to come up and share a few words on behalf of our program. Judge Shannon.
I promised Joseph that I'd take this block M off before I spoke today. Joseph being a proud Michigan State Spartan. I'm really honored to address. I'm not Native. I'm Irish, but I worked in Indian country, and the chief was talking about 1983. Excuse, not 1883, but I remember those days. A few years ago, and with the support of previous councils and this council and administration, we were able to obtain some grant money and more or less redirect the court system. You know, tribal courts at one time were law and order courts back in the 1800s, and under the direction of the Department of War, and we were able to move the court into a health model. And with the help, we got Kathy Matthews to come out of probation to direct this. This is a few years ago, and it was new concept. People didn't really know much about it, but it was a treatment court, and we've been, I believe, successful over the last several years. We understand that in the beginning it was the adult court. Then we thought, well, you know, we really have to get back to the families. And that's where we are now with Joseph. We've been fortunate to have some really dedicated people working in your court. This is your court, your tribal court. And to expand it from adults to families, and including the juveniles now, which is difficult. Let me tell you, this is difficult, but it's worthwhile. We've implemented this concept of prevention, which I heard earlier, intervention and treatment, and tried to combine them all into all the cases that come before the court. And as Joseph mentioned, we have cut incarceration costs because we no longer rely solely upon punishment, and we look at rehabilitation above all, because you are one family. We are all part of one family, but this community, and I keep pointing out, there's approximately 3,200 of you. We cannot afford to lose any of you, and that's how we look at things. So, thank you again very much. I'm just honored to be here today.
Thank you, Tribal Court Judge Patrick Shannon. And just to go ahead and to let you know, I'm 75% Ojibwe, 1/4 Irish. So the Irish comes from my mom's side, the Chamberlain side. And you know, I always kind of like to think that this is my Irish part. You know, that's what I used to do all my drinking with. But you know, to go ahead and to look at healing to wellness, I think being able to heal the whole community And it really is an integrated health approach. I mean, back when Kathy Matthews started Healing to Wellness in 2013, I think the idea was, well, maybe we should get behavioral health together along with ACFS and the tribal court, and maybe if we got the help from NIMKI, maybe if we used a client-centered approach, we could go ahead and have better outcomes for people in recovery. You know, and the one thing about working with Kathy Matthews is I've noticed that there's a lot of jobs within the tribe that are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Well, you know, a lot of times with recovery and a lot of the struggles people go through with addiction, it's not about 8 to 5. And one of the best examples that I get out of that is the work that's being done behind the scenes. I couldn't think of anyone better that does a lot of the work behind the scenes, and basically she's an inspiration to me and why I got into Healing to Wellness. I kind of tease her and I kind of mention that, you know, she's kind of the queen of Healing to Wellness because she started it within the tribe, but what a beautiful legacy for this time when we talk about Freedom Walk and we're able to develop a program that speaks directly to the healing of our community. That's what Kathy Matthews helps us do. I'd like to ask Kathy to come forward and share some words with us.
Thank you for those kind words, Joe. It's an honor and a blessing to be here. I love what I do, and I call our clients my spring flowers because you know when they come out of the ground and they're just new and they're refreshed, and that's what I feel when I see our clients walking that red road and they're out in the community with their families, with jobs. That's why I came back. And when they graduate, we've had 7 graduates. When they graduate, they come back to see us because we're their healing forest. And when they come in, and let's say I'm not there that day, or any of my staff is not there that day, we help them. And when we're not there, as you well know, you've got a big support group, your healing forest, and when they're not there, they're kind of disappointed, and we know what we mean to them. My staff, like Judge said, they're wonderful. We've got Melanie Berger, she's our cultural liaison. We've got Carrie Carabao, she's our family support tech. We've got Joe Samick, our family coordinator. We've got John Pattison. He actually had to witness his first graduation, and he was like, that was so meaningful. And I'm like, you know why I do it now. It's a hard job, but it's also very rewarding. And when I start my everyday, I always think, what's today gonna bring? And I like that. I don't like coming in and knowing what I'm gonna do every minute of the day. And it's just a blessing to be a part. And when we had to graduate just recently, I had the day off, but I came in because I walked that red road with him. I couldn't not see him graduate. And it's very meaningful for them too to see that we were there for them, especially on their graduation from the start to finish. When if there's anyone in the community, whether it be a family member who has a family member that's struggling, you're more than welcome to reach out to us and we can get you on that red road to well-briety. We've got things that we offer we've got events that gets the family back together. We've got the Red Road to Well-Briety booklets, work booklets. We've got the big book. We've got lots of things to offer our clients. And it's good to see some people here out in the audience and to see you on your red road. But thank you for having me here. And I will continue to do what I do. And thank you for your support.
Chief Kathy Matthews, you know, as Kathy mentioned, that red road or well-briety, one of the truths that we look at in walking that road is the 4 laws of change. And one of the things Don Koyas mentions is the true change has to come from within. And there must be a vision of recovery, and what does that vision look like? And then there must be a great teaching. You know how those teachers, those elders, those spiritual people come into your life and can share wisdom and knowledge with you, that it doesn't have to be this way with addiction. You can walk in recovery. So that true change comes from within. There has to be a vision. There has to be a teaching. But just like Kathy mentioned, there has to be a healing for us too. And remember all of those times with the Freedom Walk, we'd sit in the gym and we'd look around and we'd see all of those families and all of that good feeling, and people just wanted to be a part of. And then we could go ahead and to walk for freedom. And just like Shauna mentioned, when we're able to go ahead and to do this virtual Freedom Walk, we can share our photos, we can share our teachings, we can share our pictures of recovery. And there's nothing like a snapshot of recovery. A lot of times Kathy and Jen Washigizhik will be sending photos back and forth about our graduations and people, that activity that happened in court. And to go ahead and to share that joy, somebody told me once that joy shared is joy doubled. And we need to double that joy, especially this time of the pandemic. And one of the ways that we can go ahead and to share is remembering those people that have meant so much to us in the past. I remember people like Kim Hindman's father that meant so much to our recovery community. And there are other tools in recovery that can help our people to get back on that path. I'm going to ask Kim to come up and to share her experience, strength, and hope, and to go ahead and share some of the tools that they're working with on substance abuse prevention. Kim?
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me here today. For me, Freedom Walk has always been a part of me growing up. It's a part of this community. It's a part of I've been here for a long time. And it's something that we've looked forward to every year. A part of getting together as a community, knowing that we have our struggles, but celebrating our strengths. And that is, we're all in this together, and we're not going to get out of this until we work together. I think that parallels a lot of what we're seeing here in 2020. We all are in this together, and the only way we're going to get out of it is through a lot of kindness and a lot of hope. Anything less than that is kidding yourself. I think that we all are doing great things in being together and being able to come together and do this walk and show our support, even when it's not easy, even when it's not great and huge. Being able to come out together and do this on our own is amazing. So I was asked to talk to you guys about naloxone and the overdoses in our community. So our overdoses seem to be going down. We're not seeing so many of that, and I think that we can attribute some of that to awareness, education, and also access to naloxone. So right now in our community, we have access through naloxone through NIMKI. You can talk to your provider. You can talk to John through Healing to Wellness. And you can also stop in with Joe and Kathy. They do have a limited amount of naloxone available, 8 to 5. But if you're uncomfortable, you can talk about that with your provider at NIMKI. They will have a discussion with you, show you how to use it, and you can walk away with it that day. So everybody who lives with, who has an addiction to an opiate, please get your hands on some naloxone. You can get it right through NIMKI. You can get it from the health department. They offer it through their clean needle exchange there at the health department. They're accessible in Isabella County, Clare County, Mecosta County, Midland County, Bay County, and I believe Aranet County as well. but they all offer that to you, along with nice testings. They can test you for Hep C and get you on the grounds for moving forward with that. I think that that's all a really great service to this area, and it's open to anybody through the health department. NIMKI is open to anybody who's NIMKI eligible, and anybody who has a NIMKI eligible patient in their families. So I want to also let you know that we will be working and coordinating as we open up more and get past this coronavirus shutdown to hold more trainings in person. We can show you how to use it, what the signs to look for, which are cold and clammy skin, repressed breathing, pinpoint eyes. If you start seeing those signs, you need to call 911. If you have naloxone on you, you need to administer it, because minutes save lives. Those minutes are going to help slow brain damage and increase their life survival chances. If they're not breathing, you should begin CPR if you're comfortable with that. But if not, just do what you can. But make sure that you call 911 and you stay with that person. Thank you.
Chief Gwetch came in and appreciate that information on naloxone, sometimes referred to our community as Narcan kits, and we do have those available along with NIMKI. And part of our Healing to Wellness team, we talk about the importance of recovery, where a lot of times it is about food, clothing, and shelter. And in order to go ahead and to move your recovery forward, a lot of that is based in that important aspect of finding a job, and not only being a part of the Healing to Wellness team. Our Anishinaabe workforce developer, Luanna Bruner, is also a voice in our community about the importance of recovery, and I know that she works with a lot of women to get them on the path, and I'm proud to have her as a sister in my home recovery group, our Mount Pleasant Alano Club Sunday morning gratitude group, where Luann and I get a chance to share our experience, strength, and hope. And just to talk a little bit about not only the importance of employment in recovery, but being able to go ahead and to walk this Mino Bamazuan. I'd like to ask Luann to come and share her experience, strength, and hope. Lou?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for everybody that showed up. As Carmen stated earlier, she got sober in Albuquerque, and she spoke of how she could go right back there and fit right in. And I give much gratitude to the fellowship of the program and AA and our community. And I give lots of thanks to Tribal Council for still extending these resources for us to have to help us get sober. And I applaud Shauna for keeping this a virtual meeting and having that connectivity, and the groups that we have where you can Zoom. It's different for us and it's uncomfortable, and I'm glad that people are starting to embrace it, because I think this is our new normal. And it allows that fellowship to continue. So I just want to keep it brief. I know we have some speakers here, and look forward to them sharing their strength, hope, and experiences, and encourage everybody to do that, because you never know where you're at in recovery, who you might touch, who you might inspire when they're struggling. And I look forward to seeing everybody's submissions for their walk and their continual support, because yes, I do miss the big gatherings, the breakfast. I miss it all. And I just want to also thank the judge and Kathy for starting this Healing to Wellness program and continuing it and embracing it. And I think why our clients are so successful is because when they enter into the program, they're not judged. You're not even judged by the judge, but you're embraced, and and they gather all these resources to help us. And then once you're strong enough and ready to do that, please come see me, because I'd love to put you to work. That was one of the best things that I loved about sobriety, is being able to go to work every day and make my boss happy. And for me, it gave me a sense of completion and reinstilled in me that I am of value and I am of worth and I can contribute to our community. So thank you, everybody.
Chippewa, Anishinaabe workforce developer, Lou Anna Bruner. I've known Lou for quite a few 24 hours, and if anything, that idea of a definition of a warrior. Someone reminded me once that a warrior is not necessarily a man. It's someone that walks in conviction and is doing the right things for the right reason. And I can't think of a stronger warrior than Lou Anna Bruner. She means a lot to our community. So I also wanted to go ahead and to mention with Healing to Wellness, there's an opportunity for our clients as they go ahead and continue their walk in recovery to give back. In fact, one of our clients is with us here today as a Healing to Wellness alumni. And she's been very influential in our recovery community in a short period of time. The one thing that I know with Kelly Lancaster is she likes to go ahead and to help young women find their way in recovery and to get back to be a part of their families. I know that she's helped out with Sisters of Sobriety and attended a lot of their events. And at this time, I'd like to ask Kelly Lancaster, a Healing to Wellness alumni, to come forward. Kelly?
Hi, good morning. I want to thank Judge and Kathy for allowing me to speak and be part of this community. Take this off. Sorry about that. When I started this, before I started this program, I was, my addiction with alcohol was, it took a really bad turn for me. And, just being an a broken soul. My last drink was June 16th. And that was the worst day of my life until I came into the program, and I believe that finding yourself is the biggest thing you have to do in recovery and in sobriety. And I had to learn that finding myself without using my alcohol, a lot of things have changed for the past 2 years. I've had did a lot of journaling because I didn't know who I was, and like I said, I had to find myself through these pages. I write down little keywords every morning. I do my daily journal, daily devotion every morning, and that's the only thing that really got me by, because I had to do something for change, and that's what it took. It's taken some time, and there's still more for myself. Healing to Wellness, it's really helped me out, and I'm ready to give back to the community. So that's what and you mentioned Sister of Sobriety. I'm on a waiting list to become a recovery coach also, so I'm excited about that. I'm sorry about that. And anyways, before I close this, I want to read something here. Discover your reason for being. Every person is a unique being. There is only one of you in the universe. I don't know what your destiny will be, but the one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will be really happy, and those who have sought and fought how to serve. sobriety, date that I had, wrote down, I guess it was 801 days. So I look forward. Well, that's all I got. Thank you, once again.
Chi Miigwech, Kelly Lancaster, Healing Wellness Alumni. You know, one of the things that we talk about in recovery, we can't live on yesterday's sobriety. You know, what are we going to do for our recovery today? And one of the traditional teachings I got after a fasting teaching, my elder Makate Yanakwet was talking about how do you go ahead and to get that spark of recovery. And the way that he explained it was you can take a flint and you can take a striker and then you can take a skatagan, and that's off a birch bark tree. It's that spongy substance that allows you to catch that spark when you go ahead and to take the flint and the striker. And as that spark hits that skatagan, you can go ahead and to use your eagle feather to fan it. And a lot of times for our traditional pipe carriers and our people that make those sacred fires, that's exactly the way those sacred fires starts. But how do you go ahead and start that sacred fire from within for your recovery? Where are you going to find the spark to ignite that sacred fire? A lot of times we'll find it in the inspiration of others. And to go ahead and to see where Kelly has come from through the Healing to Wellness program, and now that she wants to give back as a recovery coach, that is a wonderful thing. And as we have another one of the people that is connected to our family court, she's choosing that traditional path of recovery, and she's sharing some of her knowledge that she's learned from her teachers, and she works with cultural liaison Melanie Berger to go ahead and to bring those teachings. She has a medicine wheel workshop coming up. She shared Grandmother Moon's teachings, and I'd like to ask Anna Winter to come up and to share some of her experience, strength, and hope as a mother, and the importance of recovery in the Freedom Walk on our reservation. Anna?
Miigwech, Buju, Anna Indigenicas, Makwendudim, Odawas Gaigining Dunchba. My name is Anna, and I'm from the Bear Clan, and I'm originally from Lacoudere, Wisconsin, but I'm a member of this community here in Mount Pleasant, Saginaw, Chippewa Indian tribal community, which I'm very grateful for. So I didn't prepare anything, so I'm just kind of just gonna go and just speak from the heart and just see where that gets us, right? So I had the honor and opportunity to speak at a previous Freedom Walk, and at that time I was just completely nervous, and I wasn't like comfortable with myself, and I wasn't like confident, you know what I mean? So I was just like struggling through that speech, but I just happened to have a moment like when I was up there, and like all my nerves and everything, like I just looked out and I just seen like people's faces in the audience, right? And I looked at everyone, I'm like, wow. And I might get a little emotional, but I looked at everyone, I'm like, wow, there's so many people in this room that have had a direct hand in my recovery and in my family's well-being, and I was like come with gratitude. And I seen my significant other out there, Walter, and I seen my youngest son, Peyton, out there, and they were super tired, like their eyes were so tired because it was early in the morning, and they were just standing out there, just proud, like just really proud on their faces. And I was like, wow, this is like such a big deal, you know what I mean? It just touches so many people, and it's what I want for my children. I want my children to, not to say have seen their mom struggle with alcoholism, but I want them to see me come out on the other side. I don't ever want them to have to go through what I've went through with my addictions and struggles and stuff. So I'm hoping to just kind of like blaze a trail for them. And I want to do that like on the red road. I also had an opportunity working with Joe and Melanie and Kathy and everybody up at the tribal court, and Judge Shannon say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be able to put on the workshops. We did the women's moon teachings, and it was really intimidating. But like I just stated a little earlier, I just spoke from the heart, and I just talked about, you know, what I was taught when I was growing up. And my hope for that workshop was to reach other females in the community that, you know, maybe didn't have that information or access to that information, but also wanted to reach men in the community as well. So we opened it to men and women, in case there was fathers out there that might have had daughters that they didn't have someone that they could go to and talk to about these things. And I have, my oldest daughter is 16, my youngest daughter is 7, and as I'm like learning about my culture, because unfortunately I don't know a lot about our culture, but my heart is in it 100%. I'm trying to learn, you know, as much as I can, as best as I can. I'm bringing my kids right along with me. So with the women's moon teachings, I have my oldest daughter there, and it's like me and her are learning together, and we're like walking down the path together, so that when my youngest daughter comes up, she's 7, we'll have like more information, more knowledge for her, and we'll be able to kind of just, you know, give her a good like foundation, you know, to walk as like a woman, and like walk with respect, and you know what I mean, like be able to like hold herself like in a good way, and walk, you know, in a good way. So that's my, you know, hopes and wishes for my kids. Obviously, they motivate me a lot. But why I had brought up that I spoke at a previous Freedom Walk is because I had actually had a relapse in between then and now, and it was terrible. And when they say like this disease is progressive, it is progressive, and it was terrible. It was dangerous. It was terrible. It was hurtful. It was probably the most worst relapse I've ever had in my entire life. And I was really beating myself up for it, and I was really down on myself because I had made so much progress, and I'm like, everyone's gonna be like so disappointed. And sorry, like I said, I'm probably gonna get emotional, but I picked myself back up, and that was my point. So like coming back here and being able to have the opportunity to speak at this Freedom Walk again, it's like, it's okay if you fall, you know what I mean? You just have to pick yourself back up. And that's what I did. I was just like, you know what, I'm picking myself back up. I gotta fight. I can't just stay down, you know what I mean? There's too much like riding on us being successful in our recovery, and that means a lot to me. So I'm very glad that I got to speak today, and just let people know that it's okay if you fall. You just have to get back up, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I have 81 days today, which I just looked up this morning because I hadn't been keeping track, because I'm not the type of person to keep track of how many days I have sober, because I noticed that when I kept track of my days, and this is just for me, it kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety. So I was like, I don't want to put too much weight on that, because then I don't want to like base how many days I have and compare that to like how much like success I'm having in my recovery. So what I did was like, I noticed that there was a shift in my mind though, like there was just a shift in my mind. And when I mean that, I mean like in the way that I pray. So when I first got on my recovery journey, I was just like, I remember how I used to pray. When I'd go in the morning and pray, I was like, I was desperate, I was down, I was grasping for anything. I was just praying for like things that I needed or wanted, right? Like I remember being out there praying, like just, you know, I would put my tobacco out in the morning and I would just pray like, just don't let me get any urges or cravings today, right? That's it. That's all I asked for. And I'll do everything else. You know what I mean? It was like I was bargaining almost. Like, I'll do everything good. I'll do everything I'm supposed to do. Just don't let me get any urges or cravings today, because I didn't, at that time, didn't know how to, like, fight them off. And then compared to, like, how my prayers are now, it's like I can't be grateful enough when I pray. And so it's just like my eyes have been open, and there's just been, like, a shift change in my mind. And, to notice that, that was pretty powerful for me. And there's a lot of support out here that, you know, when you're in active illness, you're not really aware of it. But like if you knew how like down and stuff I was when I was in my active illness, you would be like, there's no way she's standing here today, like 81 days sober, and like proud to be sober, and like wanting to like share and help other people and stuff like that. You would just be like, if you were in my head, you'd be like, there's no way that she's standing there right now doing this. So like behavioral health, everybody at RTC, the Peer 360 recovery group that we're in now, Joe, everybody at the tribal court, like there's just so many people out here, even in this room, you know, that are there and they want to help. And you know, it's just like you just gotta put in enough work to get up and ask for the help, you know, or just at least just make yourself, you know, like, just show up is what I've heard, you know, all you gotta do is just show up and just keep showing up and keep showing up, and, you know, before you know it, you build a little bit of strength and, some foundation underneath you. And I also, I'm very glad that we're doing the virtual Freedom Walk because, a good friend of mine had passed away recently, and, I have her little, you know, bracelet here. And I know she would have been a part of this. And so I'm going to walk the Freedom Walk for people who can't walk and for people who are still in active illness. And before I get too emotional, I just want to say Chimigwech. So thank you.
Chimigwech, Anna Winter, you know, when we look at those teachings, you know, we're asking people to go ahead and to look at embracing recovery, but we're going to meet you where you're at, and whether that recovery is using the traditional teachings, whether that recovery is using the book with the red letters, the faith-based recovery, or even the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, where we learn that we're not cured of alcoholism. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Just being able to go ahead and to be a part of and embrace recovery on a daily basis, I think that's what's really important, and that's what I see out of all of these Freedom Walks we've participated in the past. We always remember those that have walked before us, and we can go ahead and to remember we're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness, just like it says in the promises, and we can get there together. A lot of times in recovery and as a recovery coach, I remind people, you can do this. It's just that you can't do it alone. We've tried to do it alone, but now we can go ahead and to heal together as a community. And when you're out there doing your virtual Freedom Walk, remember you're walking for a purpose. And a lot of times we can forget on what that purpose is. Maybe if we can't understand what the purpose is, we know what it's not. And the drugs and alcohol, I think we can walk better without the drugs and alcohol, and we can embrace a healthy community. And that's why all of our speakers this morning, all of the testimonials you'll hear, a lot of times there's going to be a mess before there's going to be a message. There's going to be a test before there's going to be a testimony. And to go ahead and to be a part of, I think that's what Freedom Walk is all about. We were trying to think about how this goes back into the 1980s, and you're going to see all of those photos in our photo gallery. Some of those people aren't with us anymore, but just remember, they are with us. That's the blood memory. They're with us in our heart. So as you go ahead and participate in our virtual Freedom Walk, share your stories. Share your experience, strength, and hope, just like our speakers have. Share your family. And in this one moment, when you're embracing what's important, remember Mino Bamadzuin, living that good life. We can live that good life in recovery, and we can go ahead and to walk in a traditional way. And for all of our speakers, for Tribal Chief Tim Davis, for our Freedom Walk coordinator, Shauna, remember that sobriety is traditional. We all get a chance to be a part of the circle. Let's be a part of the circle today. Chi Miigwech. Aho.